Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon, a 3v3 today on Bloody Ridge, well actually a 4v4 on a 3v3 map today on Bloody Ridge, and it is a community cast submitted by Bob Magilica. Now, I have not yet seen anything about this game. The only description I was given is that, and I quote, "Reservists are scary." So I'm not sure who's reservists, I'm not sure why they're scary. They might be scary good, they might be scary bad. Not really sure yet, we'll discover that together, but one thing you guys should not hold in reserve is the good old like, share, subscribe, and all that YouTuber nonsense. And I'm asking a lot, but I'm asking a lot because even though subscribers have grown on the channel, views and sort of reach has not so much. So anything you guys do for that does help me out more than I can really say. And of course we do have the Discord and Patreon and all that goodness linked down below. So it looks like two players on Bob's team are headed toward Ivan and Elena. I don't necessarily love the MI24K, it's so expensive for what it does, and he's just going to run it right into a couple of abs. Pretty unfortunate opener, that's about 140 points lost out of 1,000, so more than 10% right there. Actually 14% exactly. And that is going to be a big contested town fight in Elena. Did you see that column coming up? I'm kind of worried about this, to be honest. Specjalny, Lecha Pechota, but Lecha are, I mean, they're shock training, but they're 20 points, and that secondary is not the most effective for short-range stuff. You're paying for the range there. This, I gotta say, this is nice. the Baltic Moto player in me is happy about that. Musti's leading the way, XA185 KTs, lots of infantry, and an ITO 90. Just sort of, it's one of those feel-good sort of pushes where I bet this is going to do some pretty good work. Avia 28 Bomber even leading the way. And I don't know how much I'll get with that, but it looks like it might intercept that column. ITO 90 shooting in. I mean, this is where the extra ammunition compared to things like the Krotal is really pretty wonderful, because he's fired 3, he still has 5 in the tank, and those KTs are going to rip these guys to shreds. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful push. I love it. This side, on the other hand, maybe not so much. So Stormers, it looks like there's been some napalm, probably from both sides at this point. This looks like artillery. Could just be artillery from one side, not both, but that looks like the circle, and then this looks like something else. So I'm not sure why they'd napalm their own positions. Could have been a plane. Actually, looking at this, it's probably the Entente plane. The Czechoslovakian napalm plane is pretty popular. K-29 TB intercepted, and I would be surprised if this side's going to hold. So that's sort of the issue, especially with double teams on both ends here. Whoever wins this first straight-up fight is going to have such a huge advantage. It really is amazing. It's actually, I think, even worse than losing Feder, because this you can push into and out of from Dimitri and from Cheriton, but the town, good luck. I mean, I've never seen a team recover from that before, and I mean, you might be able to make up for it. It looks like there were some kills on this side, wraparound kills. That's a chaparral, so it looks like the XA 185 KTs did get around and get some good kills there, but Ranico are having a bit of a hard time. US Marines are a heavy investment, but well worth their weight, because those mini-me's will shred things. Even Ranico Yekri, and unfortunate micro here, it looks like just outside of that section of woods. There it is, there's the fix, that's what we want to see. Ito might have been killed too. Yeah, H1J Corvo's in the back, Ito is now gone. Good work from Bob here in the center, but that's two 2A5NLs. I would love to see ATGM planes on those. But I mean, this is a tough situation. Ivan's just gone. So two players, Igor and Seal Clubber, we'll call him, just because the CS split is not something I'm really going to be doing at the moment, have lost this completely. And there has to be, yep, there's Blue 4 pushing already, they're already around the right. That Copa needs to be moving out, because if you leave him there, he's not going to survive. And you can have the best intentions, but this guy, he doesn't have a gun to defend himself. Ratel 90 is getting killed by the 24 VP is more lucky than good sort of nonsense. Where, I mean, that Copa, he's in trouble with this. That's probably transports, that's probably infantry screaming through as well. And Oreo 2 is not the solution here. I mean, it's nice, but I'd be surprised if he gets out alive. Nope, dead. Okay, so that probably strictly worse than having infantry on the ground, although now, because that town fight was so decisive, you'd have to really show up in force. You have to show up with like 400 points minimum of infantry and mixed fire support to get that. What I do like is that CAA on the right-hand side, I think I've played against him, and I think he beat the crap out of me, by the way, is doing wonderful things. Yekri, Eriko's Yekri, Spike team, maybe a little bit far forward for the Spike until you clear out those US Marines, but the spirit of what he's doing here is amazing. So he's trying to get vision forward on and then deny that whole section with the spike teams. I think they're getting engaged here more than they'd like to be by the US Marines. CC should be able to clear that up, but these guys are very fragile. You have to keep them alive. And if they can get those spikes online, I mean, denying your opponent's reinforcements when it's probably expensive Marines from what we've seen so far from Accelerator could be phenomenal. Iroquois, unfortunately, out of Iglas. You kind of need to bring, I think, 2 groups minimum. TACOM is spotted, though, so if there is any sort of good follow-up, and yeah, that's what the spike team wants to do. 1 LVTP7 just gone right there. It was US Marines, that's pretty nice. And if Ivan's going to be lost, then you have to make up for it on the right-hand side. You have to make up for the center. It's a +2 zone, right? So these are both +1. If you get that +2 zone, you can make up for it just fine. And then it becomes a matter of can you hold in Sheraton Constantine. But this is so much closer to your spawn than theirs. Some helicopters around the side, a little bit of heavy tanks in Constantine and Sheraton, and you basically turn this into a firing concave. It's not ideal. You'll have anti-air way farther up the field than you'd want, especially against US players, where they can push Patriot up to here safely. That's going to be able to fire in all the way back here. So you've basically surrendered the air game as well. But, I mean, this is pretty rough fighting. US Marines up here, Renako Yekri up here, KT's just in the nick of time, but you have to watch out. That's 1, 2, both of them gone to US Marines in a split second. Holy cow. And the Renako need to be in a town. So, that's harsh. These guys could really have won that fight pretty easily, I think, given that they had Yekri support and CC support from back here, but good work by Accelerator. I mean, he's just overcoming the sheer numbers, and now the issue that you're having is he's getting back up from the Dutch player. So this guy, not really sure how to pronounce that, Pito Hui, was originally on the left in the Elena Ivan fight, but there's so little that he needs right there that he's now just helping cap that 2-point zone. I'd love to see some artillery. So the Telecutters have 5 HE if memory serves, and let's see what they're going for. Yeah, I mean, that's good placement. It's going to be dissuading infantry, it's going to be dissuading transports from getting any farther forward. Something needs to kill that. Oh, there it is. Double AV-28. Yeah, let's see. I bet that was going for... Oh no, okay, that was the push. Well, yeah, that was the push. Unfortunately, about a bunch of YPRs are still alive. They have pretty decent autocannons for the price, too. I mean, I think these guys are, what, 15 points? Carrying Stoottroopin, well, YPRs and Stoottroopin is a classic Dutch combo. In the meantime, I mean, BTRTs are going to do well here, and Sapri will do well here, but only so long as there's infantry in this section to get rid of, and they're just going to get pounded by artillery. I mean, Wargame is a game that snowballs, and this is one of the hardest things to... Oh, God. Okay. Reservists are scary. Oh, holy Nathra. Oh my goodness. I mean, M91A Horse just don't have the rate of fire you need to clear this out. But that's not... I mean, they were good buys. They're here to handle the 2A5s, and they definitely can win that fight. I mean, I think V-Horse... I like them better than 2A5s. The rate of fire's nice, the armor's nice, the AP power's nice. They even have 4G power, just shooting against infantry that little bit better, but 5-point targets just everywhere. Everywhere. Goodness gracious. Holy cow. Okay, well, hey, I mean, we know why he said reservists are scary. This is going to lose him the entire center zone, and I gotta say, this is the first time somebody would have sent me a replay where their team loses, unless they're going to pull something out of their hat, which very well could be happening. There's a Hawk 51 bomber not dropping off in the town. This could be going after that +2. That's a way back in the game, if they can get +2 ticking and then hold out just for long enough. But swing and a miss. Okay. And well, I had high hopes. I really wanted to see that that center zone get, well, decapped. Because here's the thing, the Blue 4 team right now is up by about 37 points. You need to hold that +2 for probably about 4 or so minutes to really get a good margin. And that's going to be hard to do even if you snipe the command vehicle, because in a minute or two they can get a replacement up. Especially if they're ahead on points, which I'd say right now they're definitely ahead on points. Pretty good stop, honestly. T-72s, now this is what you really need to bring out in force to handle Natra and AMX spam, because for 40 points you just get way more shells downfield per point than you do with the V-Horse, who are nearly out of ammunition. Oh, that's terrifying. I mean, yeah, the Natra are not going to survive this individually, but I bet you that's a 2A5. Let's take a look. That looks like a 2A5 to me. Could be a 2A4. Kind of hard to tell. And that retreat's probably good. So Neva Mitt back here, M84AN, double V-Core, double T72. There's still potential to push back into Feder, I think, but they probably need the numbers on their side as well. So, yeah, Super Gallop, a little bit late. Yeah, so he was looking for him. Actually, that was a hit. Was that a kill? No. I don't think that was a kill. That sucks. Super Gallop nearly getting it. Double roll and 3 spotted. That's a lot of points in the ground. That's 130 points of radar, anti-air, right here in the center of the town. If you had a cluster, that's where I'd put it. The Malka might even be able to, if we know that they're holding in the center of the town, but they're moving away. That's always a mistake that I make with my Malka, is, or my similar sort of artillery, is I look at where they are, I fire in, and I avoid where they're going to be, which is a hard thing to do. So, H-64 Escort, that's also a hard thing to deal with. So, one thing that I found to be successful in Gregory on this side, and I don't know if this is just me, I don't know if it was just who I was playing against, Iroquois up on the top from the start, and I think he's doing that now. It's probably what's being dropped off in the Super Puma. Double Avia. Yeah, Iroquois Yakuri here. So let's see what the Avias can get. Oh, jeez. The zoom is so weird. Oh, Nighthawk. Oh, please let the Iroquois get the Nighthawk once, one hit. And they're not going to have the range the second hit. And that's 2 Telectors dead. Damn. I wonder how they had vision on that. If they have recon infantry that far forward, you're going to be in some trouble. But, so the initial push up here, if you took one group of Iroquois and got them sort of around the top, that can be pretty good for screening out helicopters and getting you vision, right? So these guys are up pretty high. I think most of the vision could be coming from, well, maybe not. It's got a little bit line of sight block there. Otherwise they'd be shooting in the Iglas, I would imagine. It's an H-64 Escort. And these Iglas are good Iglas, unlike SASF type deal, and that could, well, get good kills against the Escort. Huh. Yeah, I mean, they're just routinely out of position for it. That's so goofy. Yeah, I mean, okay, there's another Escort, but you're exposing yourself to direct fire there. Yeah, that's going to be rough. You need to stay up on top here, and really just punish helicopters alone. Screen it out. It is worth it, right? Each one of these is 65 points. A single group of Iroquois Yakuri taking down 2, and that's really, I mean, that's good. That's going to save that side, and this is not to say that that CIA is really in a situation of his own making, because his original push, I think, still would be doing well, but now you have Miku, you have Pito Hui, you have just Accelerator, this 3v1 happening in Gregory right now. That's pretty much, you're not going to really win that. I mean, Ivan's recaptured because the opposing team has said, hey, you know, we have this town, we can push into Ivan anytime we darn well please. This 2-pointer is more valuable, we were losing ours, let's retake it, and then now everything's over here, right? So when they retook center, odds are they'd already purchased more reinforcements to move up and through it, and I mean, they're already over there. Send them downfield. You have a point of disadvantage on the other side, may as well see if you can get the more valuable zone. And they certainly will, I think. This 2-trooping alone, I mean, a lot of them are dying. The artillery strike there was pretty nice. Let's see, Plum and S from Bob, and well-timed. Really well-timed. And if they get both the Plummins online, so what he's doing, I think, he's trying to get one close enough to increase, well, decrease the dispersion, so increase the accuracy of that. Oh man, that's brutal. Look at all that napalm. Goodness gracious sakes alive. I thought Red 4 was supposed to be the whole, like, war crime side of things. Oh man, I guess it depends on who you ask. Anyway, Iroquois is pretty far forward, and they will be decently effective against Natra, but anything heavier like the Stu Troop, and if they're healthy, should take them out without too much trouble. And I think the weight of just enemy fire here is going to be hard to deal with. Super Gallop going in on a Flak Panzer. I mean, if you can get out for free, that's pretty nice. Thermomig as well could do some pretty good work. Yeah, a couple of groups of Stu Troop and just eviscerated. And that's the sort of teamwork that you need to see at this point to save that position. If you're getting 3v1, your teammates need to help you. Even if they're struggling on the other side of the map, they need to help you, because otherwise you're just accepting a later on crisis. And that crisis is happening now, so even with the Thermomig, there's still more Stu Troop in here. They're just supremely cost-effective shock infantry, I've tended to find. I mean, 20 rounds a minute, 19 AP power on the AT4, I'd pay 20 points for that alone. And they have a mini-me. It's brutal stuff. Ranico could solidify this, though. They are, of course, elite training. I don't like the KK-62 as much as the Mini-Me, but then it's sort of hard to compete with that. Let's speed things up a bit, because this, I mean, with the Natra spam that's going on, it could take a little bit. And Gregory has been lost by the looks of it. That's going to give a +3 now to the Red 4 team. Yeah. The routine avia bombing, this is why it's so hard to push into your opponent's side of the field. But down goes the Super Galeb, one trip too many, and, well, let's see. T-72s, if he can cut his opponent's presence in Fetter, I don't know, I feel like we keep trying to find different ways back in, and then they're just systematically really struggling. And, I mean, AMX 13 FL15s, that rate of fire is enough to take down two T-72s that needed to anchor that push. If you take out the AMX and then you use fire support to take down the Panzergren, that's going to be a really different deal here, because 13 rounds a minute, these guys are really effective against infantry as well. Not because their HE power is high, but just because, I mean, holy cow, look at that rate of fire, right? So between that and the Martyr 1, I mean, yeah, paper thin armor. But that beachhead was nearly very good, and instead not so much. Oh man, that's rough. That's rough. That's rough. There are a few things more frustrating in this game than losing, which is probably true of most sorts of RTSs. So let me tell you guys a little bit as well about the tournament that's going to be on the channel here in a little bit. It's actually hosted on the Discord, and we're going to be once the tournament's more on the way, showing a couple of the tournament games a week for a couple of weeks. Probably we do have some games on Saturday the 18th, Sunday the 19th, and then probably the weekend after that. Sign-ups are on the Discord. It's a team tournament, so teams of 3. If you don't have a team of 3, that's not an issue, because there are also individual sign-ups where you'll sort of say, hey, you know, I'm looking for a team. Just join in there, and you should be able to find some people. And then there are also prizes sponsored by the community writ large. So you guys really been an excellent community, and the support from a couple of the more veteran members of the community is going to be providing a prize of, I believe, 45 per player on the winning team, 25 per player on the second team, and 10 per player on the third team. So if we have 16 teams, the top 3 will get a prize for their performance. And there are some restrictions. We're trying to make it more of a mid-range tournament, so if you have a bunch of brigadier generals, I'm gonna split you up. But I'd still like to see you there, because one experienced player anchoring a couple of newer players can make for some really interesting 3v3s. There will still be good players on the other side as well, so I mean, you can definitely have good gameplay, good fun matches, and a good time for everybody here. So hope to see you guys there. The Discord link should be down below most of the videos, but if it's not, you can also always find it on the main page as well. In the future, I do want to provide the prize pool myself. Probably need to be a bit bigger of a channel before that happens. Make of that what you will. So, T-80Bs, and there is more going on for the Red 4 team on this side than I had really imagined. So one way to push into this town, as we're seeing right now, is just get some cheap Zanshi moving forward, allow your opponent to shoot at them, and then just, well, return the favor, I suppose. But the napalm artillery has been pretty brutal this game. I mean, you don't have to kill infantry or vehicles to make them worthless. You just have to panic them, and that's going to be a bunch of panicked Skredgets. The Stormer here are going to make up their worth in gold, probably. A couple of Skredget kills, a couple of BVP kills if they can manage it. XA-180 and O's just drawing fire. I did think the Stormers would do better, but it looks like they're panicked as well. Everybody is just upset they have to be in Ivan right now. That's the truth of it. And then this looks awful. Martyr 1s. If the Renico poke forward right now, they might be able to get those Martyr 1s, but it's behind a screen of trees. It's probably blocking line of sight. And Deckensgruppe are going to be pretty deadly, so Deckensgruppe featured heavily in the town fighting in Elena, and I mean, the reason people like these guys is the Carl Gustav M2s have increased rate of fire, 15 rounds a minute, and they're 2 HE, so they're really effective fire support against everything. They're just a little bit fragile, but in big numbers, that fragility doesn't matter because, frankly, the time they take to kill things is ridiculously low. It's pretty nice. There goes the Thermomig. It has to just hurt every time they go away, but 3 Martyr 1s and Deckensgruppe, so probably worthwhile on the way out, I'd imagine. Okay. It looks like the Blue 4 team might actually be overextending a bit. If the Red 4 team can get kills at cost here, they can potentially return the favor for the early fight in Ivan. Maybe this won't be a Red 4 loss after all, we'll see. Cepri, BTRT, Specialny. Yeah, I mean, that's really not working out great. But I mean, there's a Moderna here, there's an M91A Vihor. That's a lot of firepower. I just like to see it have the opportunity to do good work. Yeah, I mean, dead AMX. That's a nice shot at the Vihor. Yeah, I mean, Entente can reservist spam pretty well. I've seen it before. I've experienced the sad end of that before. It definitely is pretty rough. The issue is 321 points to 40, and they're taking out a +2 because they have Feder now. Ivan is decapped, and Feder is a center zone, so Konstantin Cheriton, Boris Dmitry, they cancel out, and then the Feder cap is sort of, if everything's symmetrical, the winner is decided on who has Feder, so they need to take that back as well, now that center's kind of off the table. But it looks like a blue 4 withdrawal here. They might have realized that the situation was getting dangerous and just said, hey, you know, let's hang on to the lead that we have. A couple of kills coming back our way, that wasn't really what was desired here. So caution is definitely a good thing in this game. DSDs, BVPs, they need to be dropping off now. You can't run into your opponent's anti-tank weapons, especially the short-range ones. It's just a way to lose your infantry as well. So, gotta be careful about that. I think we had a short, one of the 10 AM videos recently where somebody did that to me, and they just ran their nice, shiny new reinforcements up directly into Simpano Bronchi, and it was just, it was a mistake better avoided, shall we say. KT is getting up in a run from CIA. Eric Waziekri, yeah, I mean, Baltic Motorized is good at infiltration, but it looks like Accelerator was expecting that. Now there's a Cobra. Should be able to kill the Cobra, I'd imagine. No, maybe not. Rocket pods. Damn. Pretty close. I think the Cobra's down to 1 or 2 points left, which is good work for single KT. If he had been able to take him down, I mean, that's almost 3 times the original value. Zealous Nietzsche now, and these guys are militia, 10 strength militia for 5 points. So returning the favor with the reservists, but Panzergron 90 will rip them to shreds. So yeah, the Oats are supporting here. I'd like to see the Moderna get his autocannon online. Vihor's pushing. Could be a late game comeback here. That's what I'm hoping for, honestly. I always root for people who send these in because, well, I want to cover more of them. So always hoping for good, interesting games, and if they can come back, I mean, with 100 points left, it would have to be pretty dramatic. They'd have to push through Feder, Dmitry, Elena, and Center all at once. You'd need a complete collapse of the blue 4 position. Nothing short of that will save this game, but with 15 minutes left, that could save it. So Ivan gone, Feder gone, Center gone, you'd have just enough time to make up for that. And you might even have to decap something else, or cap Center for yourself. That's a 4-point swing. But Amex Prees, it looks like the Dutch player has really gotten comfortable over on this side. Amex Prees probably, yeah, that's more Natra. Here comes reservist spam. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, indeed. That has to suck. I mean, it's just, you're shooting at things that you know aren't worth it, but what other choice do you have? Good uses of the spike teams, though. I love these guys. 2450 meter range is not best, but you don't need it all the time. And Chaparral is gone, a couple of transports gone as well, and he's really slowing down this whole thing. I only wish some of the Avias were still alive. I think they are gone. Or the Thermomig. If you drop a Thermomig right there, just tons of dead riflemen. It might actually come close to paying for himself. I mean, Plummet SS is doing... Oh, Plummet S, rather. Jeez. That's... Damn. Moving on. The Plummet S is pretty nice. I think it carries 4 internal volleys, so it's not even that ammunition dependent, or resupply dependent, rather. Yeah, this is nice. I love KRKKs. And these riflemen do not have a chance. There needs to be armor here, or these guys will just get shredded. I think it looks like not even turning around, too. That's some brave riflemen. Can you imagine walking into the maws of XA-185 KRKKs and just... Yeah. Okay, there they go, turning around. Still, there's going to be a lot more death before they get out of range, because these guys, they can throw those frag launchers 1,225 meters downrange. Brutal stuff. Of course, the Abrams will take care of that pretty well. I think this is going to be game, honestly. I think a nice try from Bob here, some very persistent gameplay, also just beautiful recovery on this side. I thought they were going to lose Gregory, they didn't. Do love to see that sort of defense. I think just Ivan was so catastrophic early on. This whole game has really been the story of that initial engagement just changed the course of the entire thing. Yeah. Well, Iroquois is getting around the side, Yakri around the side. CIA are just having wonderfully scrappy play as well. There's the TACOM spotted. If you can hit that with the Plum and S, might be able to kill it. Iroquois might be able to kill it as well, but we gotta worry about him moving. One hit on the escort, second Igla on the way. There it is. Nice kill, saving the Iroquois from destruction. Have to see, the automatic's pretty short range, so that's probably what they're looking to get in contact for. Okay, hit CB with IDF. Oh, what's IDF? No idea. Okay, it's 474. They have to move right now. Might be the Malka targeted on there. We saw some howitzer shells land. Could be the Malka. Mista S. Okay, where's the Malka? Was it always a Mista and I just misread that? That's quite possible. Would Smirch. Yeah, the Mista got it. So center's gone. That's pretty good. They're actually at a +1. Oh man, can you imagine the Blue 4 team right now going, we're so close and we just can't quite end it. CIA doing a bit of a rush here. Steel Clever, this is the cooperation I was talking about earlier. Wonderful cooperation. T-72B is moving down range. They've realized the value of the +2 zone and center and just holding an Ivan, making sure you don't lose this outright, but then pushing down that side. So I wonder, 3 Modernas, 2 Modernas, oh that sucks. 2 NA5s though, 1 NA5. This is just, that's some knockdown drag out tank combat right there. Beautiful stuff. Good smoke micro too. Without that smoke micro, I think the Modernas could have gotten the kills. VHORs are back here getting healed up, so pretty good tank management from Bob the entire game. This is one of the benefits of Entente as well against something like Yugoslavia, which is more of what I play, is the number of tanks you can bring in this range. So you have 3 Modernas, 2 M91A VHORs. That's way more super heavies than any single nation can put on the field. You can argue that the Russians can do similar, well the Soviets I guess can do similar, the USA can do similar, but outside of those, you're really dependent on a coalition to get that sort of presence. Longbow is an unfortunate answer from Accelerator, and I think that's going to turn back the tide here in center. Once they get that capped again, that's going to be a quick loss, unfortunately. And honestly, you can shit on Dutch decks all you want, but Natra spam, very few nations do that sort of reservist spam better than the Dutch. You have the AMX Pre, 3 frontal armor, 5 points, mechanized. Natra, 10 strength militia, 5 points. Just tons and tons of volume. And then following it up with the FL-15s is really pretty deadly too. I mean, just the rate of fire here could reasonably kill a Moderna. And that's terrifying. I mean, 12 AP power, but even if they do 1 damage per shot, I think they actually still have to close a bit. But even if they do just 1 damage per shot, that can add up really quick. On the other hand, the autocannon Moderna can also get kills there, and I don't know what got that Moderna. Could have been a tank on this side we can't see. Looks like there is an M1A2 there. Yeah, there goes an Oat. Alright, well hey, that's going to be all we've got. Let's see how Bob did for kills and losses. Brutally hard fought game, and the first community cast loss ever on the channel. So about 300 points difference, maybe a little bit more, yeah, roughly about there. For that long of a 3v3, that's really not a bad difference in kills losses, so the Red 4 team did recover from their catastrophic opening pretty well, and you saw that on the board too when the Blue 4 team overextended a bit, got knocked back. Beautiful game, thank you for sending it my way. And Bob did pretty well, 3,027 to 2355. You can see Igor and Seal Clubber, more, I think Igor in particular, because Seal Clubber did have that nice tank resurgence on the right-hand side, good support there, a couple of good valuable kills. But Igor, it looks like, did struggle a little bit getting good value out of this. So, MVPs, Thermomig, lots of Deckens Grupa, lots of Stu Truppen, Natra, XA-186s, beautiful use of that plane, and the VHOR just... Oh, it's a whole page of Natra and AMX Prees. Now we know where all their shells went. That's pretty goofy. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I wonder how much better that would have been if it was Moderna up there earlier and you had the autocannon to supplement your main gun. But Plum and S did very well. Super Galub, not so much, just a single Gepard, but I mean, the Super Heavies all performed really well for Bob, and that's a skill that I would hope at some point I can emulate. I can't right now, but maybe one day. So that's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.